Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tim Dillon Show. We have the unique privilege this week of hosting a contest to determine who is going to lead the next chapter of Turning Point USA. The two finalists have made it through all the preliminary rounds, and now you, the audience, are going to vote by phone to see which finalist you think is best suited to take Turning Point USA into the next chapter. Please welcome our first contestant, Erica Kirk. Kirk, everyone. Erica, clearly going through something. Well, it's an honor to have you here.
Thank you.
You have so much energy. How are you holding up?
Tim, it has been a whirlwind. It has been just such a crazy, chaotic time. I'm going on tour. I have a Christmas album coming out, and I just signed with WME. I'm going on SNL, and I'm going on Rogan, and I have a Skims collab coming out next month. So it's just a very exciting time.
It's actually amazing that's how this is all happening. I did try your smoothie and air one, and it was excellent.
Thank you so much.
Do you have anything you want to leave the Turning Point fans with?
If Israel did it, I forgive them.
Erica Kirk, everyone. Our next contestant is Brylan Hollyhand.
Hey, y'all.
Hello, Brylan. Brylan, let me ask you a question. What makes you suited to lead Turning Point USA, this Christian Republican organization?
18-year-old. I go to Auburn University, Roll Tide, and
Yeah.
I am the biggest Democrat hater in all the lands.
Okay, settle down, Brylan, settle down. A lot of people have criticized you because you've been seen on a private jet or, you have a Rolex on. They say your dad's rich. Or what's your response to them?
Well, I would just say my daddy got guns.
All right. Well, Brylan, and do you have a girlfriend, a lovely lady in your life?
I have girlfriends that I love to go out with.
Right.
But, not some special somebody, if that's what you're asking.
Not yet, I'm sure. Okay, and I'm sure you are very excited to bring Turning Point into the next era.
I'm going to make my Turning Point jet kiss my daddy's jet.
All right, well, thank you so much, Brylan Hollyhand, everyone. We'll let you know how the audience votes. And now weighing in from prison in his first interview is Tyler Robinson.
People showed up in Escalades and tiny hats, and they threatened my family. It wasn't me.
Thank you, Tyler. Well, ladies and gentlemen, your votes have been pouring in as our two contestants have made their case as to why they should lead Turning Point. But a very powerful write-in campaign has taken root, and a new name has been introduced. Please welcome Candace.
The Fibonacci sequence will lead you to where Jimmy Hoffa is buried, and that is the Holy Grail.
Thank you, Candace. Ever feel like you're running on empty, staring at your own screen, hitting that afternoon crash, and debating another coffee or energy drink you know you'll regret? How about Neuro Gum? Neuro's energy and focus gum and mints give you clean focus energy without the crash, sugar, or sketchy ingredients. I started switching to these. I love them. It's the easiest upgrade I made to my wellness and energy routine. Here's where I made the energy switch. I'll tell you a personal story. I once had a coffee, and the crash was so intense. I saw a woman get hit by a car, and instead of helping her up and calling an ambulance, because I was so tired, because of the coffee had worn off, I literally saw it, and I walked the other way. And someone even walked up to me and said, "Did something happen over there?" And I went, "No. This is because I was tired." Then I switched to Neuro Energy and Focus. It's powered by natural green tea caffeine, L-theanine for calm focus, vitamin B12 and B6 for better mood and metabolism. No sugar, no aspartame, no crash. Neuro can be shared or enjoyed on the go, anywhere or anytime you are. Neuro also offers caffeine-free options for all-day wellness support. Neuro's memory and focus gum are made with American ginseng to support mental clarity minus the jitters. Neuro sleep and recharge mints offer melatonin and chamomile to help you unwind and rest without pills or sugary gummies. This isn't candy. It's functional wellness designed for true everyday focus. For a limited time, you can get 20% off your first order at neurogum.com using code TIM, NEUROGUM.com. Promo code TIM. That's neurogum.com. Use code TIM for 20% off your first order. You can also find Neuro at CVS and Amazon. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tim Dillon Show. Tilly Norwood, AI actress, hasn't even been in anything and is getting shit from these desperate loser bums who are attacking her because supposedly she's taking their jobs. I'm going to come out right now and say that Tilly Norwood has more character than the pieces of shit on Twitter and on Threads ripping her up. Everybody's shitting on her for nothing. This woman did nothing wrong other than be AI and be an actress. That's all she did. She's in artificial intelligence she's trying to be an actress, like a lot of people.
I have a piece for every
That's all she did. And then these losers who live on their floor in Los Angeles and can't afford medicine are mad at Tilly Norwood just because they don't have insulin for their sweet, sweet blood. That's a diabetic thing. I'm a little sick of people diminishing the hopes and dreams of someone just because they happen to not be real in the way that they understand it. Let's read this. It takes a lot to be the most controversial figure in Hollywood, especially when Mel Gibson still exists. Ha ha ha! Funny! Funny! And yet somehow in a career yet even to begin, Tilly Norwood has been inundated with scorn. This is for the simple fact that Tilly Norwood does not exist, despite looking like an uncanny fusion of Gal Gadot, Ana de Armas, and High School Musical era Vanessa Hudgens. Norwood is the creation of an artificial intelligence talent studio called, I want to say Sequoia. And if it's to be believed, then Norwood represents the dazzling future of the film industry. She does. She does. Norwood has been touted as the next Scarlett Johansson, with studios apparently clamoring to work with her and a talent agency lined up to represent her. Here's the deal. Tilly Norwood is not going to be a racist. She's not going to say anything about Gaza. She's not going to be a drug addict. She's not going to be a liability on set. She's not going to get involved in some type of really, controversial political cause. I'm telling you, she's not gonna, this is the future. She's not gonna have 3 trans kids like every other actress now for whatever reason. Named like Beckett and Willow and whatever. But she's gonna be an AI actress. And she's gonna do the damn job. Tilly Norwood's gonna show up and gonna do the job. And I bet when you act with Tilly, you're gonna go, God damn it, she's good. Actors are people. People are out. They're gone. The raping, drugs, racism. They got really annoying. Adam Conover stomped his feet and got all these fucking loser writers to say we don't want to write anymore because we don't make enough money, and now they're all living in tents. And I'm for Tilly. I'm for Tilly. And that's who I'm for. I'm for Tilly. So, I don't know what you people want. You want me to defend you, scumbags, that are constantly running your mouths about you hate everybody and everything. You're attacking this woman that's not even real. She doesn't even exist. You suck, and you're gonna die. How about that? You don't get to be an actress or an actor. Tilly does. The show's over. The curtain's closed. Quiet on set. You're out. Okay? You're wasting your time. I'm not dealing with you anymore like adults. I'm talking to you like the fucking children you are. Cut the shit and go home. Tilly's here, and she'll handle it. Okay? You're not going to be the thing you thought you were going to be. Get in your car, if you still own one, and drive home now. That's what it is. I'm sick of doing the dance with these fucking people. It's gonna be all AI. Sorry. It is what it is. You shouldn't have been like the most annoying cunts on Earth. You became the most annoying cunts on Earth. America was like, be hot, be interesting as an actor, like be like, you know, weirdly mysterious, and you couldn't do it. You opened your fucking mouth. You told everyone how to live. You annoyed everybody, and now we all want AI. We all want it. We all want it now. We're sick of you. We're sick of your award shows. We're sick of your garbage. We want the robots now. And you did it to yourselves. You did it to yourselves by being fucking annoying. You should have stopped being annoying. And everyone hates you. And no one cares that you have no money and you have nothing. And you will have less. You will have less than you do now. I know that's unimaginable. You will have less than you do now. And stop posting GoFundMes about your cat. Because Tilly's here. And Tilly's the queen. And Tilly's gonna win. Sorry. Did Israel kill Greta Thunberg? Did they kill her or not, this Flotilla? This Greta Thunberg, she keeps getting on this boat. I don't know what's going on with the news, but this is my understanding of the news. Israel keeps telling this bitch, don't get on this boat. And she keeps getting on this boat, and she's got food for the people in Gaza. And Israel keeps going, don't get on this boat. And she keeps getting on the boat. And then they keep boarding the boat, and don't they keep kicking her off? And she keeps getting back on this boat. They're gonna have to kill her. I'm for them killing her. I'm for Israel killing her. I'm not for a lot of what they're doing in Gaza, but if I'm for them killing Greta Thunberg, and I will defend it. If Netanyahu and Israel kill Greta Thunberg, I will defend it on this show for free. I know they spread money around 7,000 a post, so I hear. I'll do it for free if you kill Greta Thunberg. Kill her though. Burn her alive. I don't want any half measures. I don't want her to have a broken leg or she's temporarily uncomfortable. If Israel kills her, like full-on firebombs that flotilla, I will defend it. Because she's starting to annoy me now with this boat. It's not going to, I mean, yes, it helps a little bit, but there's more going on here than just you and this boat. The people in Gaza need more than whatever this bitch has on the boat. Stop getting on this boat. People don't want you on this boat. It's not all about you. And the climate is fine. I don't like how annoying she is. Israeli occupation forces have detained Greta Thunberg and dozens of participants aboard the global Samud Flotilla, including journalists, while illegal interception attempts of the remaining boats are still ongoing. When was
Jesse
this?
doesn't want to be disturbed.
This was 6 hours ago.
Just bomb this boat. I'm bored of this boat. I've been hearing about this boat for months. They keep getting close. Who does this help? They know they're gonna get boarded. They know they're gonna get redirected. It's an exercise in vanity for this dumb fucking whatever she is. Where does she even come from, Greta Thunberg? Where is it? Norway? Denmark? Whatever. She keeps doing this, and she knows what's going to happen. Sweden.
Swedish, yeah.
Whatever. She keeps doing this on this boat.
You
and
ain't
everyone
scaring
knows
me,
what's going to
and you
happen.
ain't
You're going to get
stopping me.
close to Israel, and then they're going to board you, and they're going to turn it around, and then they probably take the food and eat it themselves. They're not going to give that food out now that they got it on your boat. They're going
I
to
ain't
take
into
it
this
and eat
shit.
it themselves. Light that boat up. Light it up. Oh, let's hear from her. I don't like that she's in a life jacket. Nothing is less metal than this. This is not cool. Let's hear from her.
My name is Tilly Norwood, and I'm currently on board the boat Alma as part of the global Flotilla, a peaceful humanitarian mission to deliver aid to the civilian population of Gaza and to break Israel's illegal and inhumane siege. And it is likely to believe that we will be intercepted tonight by Israel, which would be a blatant violation of humanitarian and maritime law. Israel is not immune to international law.
They are, though. I mean, you listen. Yeah, listen. We got to start dealing with the world as it is here. And this is like, there's no, this woman's not doing it. Kill her. Kill her. Kill her. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be good here now. I want to heal the divides. Kill her. BB, kill her. And you know why? I'm bored of this crap. We need to move on. I'm sick of the Middle East. It bores me. And I'm bored of this Swedish woman. Hey, Greta Thunberg, I'm on the Flotilla. Israel, give a shit, blow everyone up. They don't care. They're not immune to it. They're doing whatever they want to do. They're doing whatever they want to do. They're not immune to international law. Yes, they are. They're doing what international law is fake. Well, it shouldn't be, but it is. Shut up. I'm in the Flotilla. I'm not participating anymore. I'm not participating anymore in people that don't. We're doing only real politic now of like what really is happening, and nothing interests me less than this flotilla of boats going over there. Like, get a peace process, whatever you're gonna do, release the hostages, build the sphere, whatever the trade-off is over there in a peace deal. I think that's a trade-off. They release the hostages and Netanyahu builds the sphere. That seems to be what they want to do. They want to build the Vegas sphere in Gaza, and then they get a couple of the hostages.
I thought we was friends.
They're going to start releasing people, by the way, that aren't the hostages, because I think the hostages are dead. So Israel's just going to have to say, look, we got hostages back. They're going to be actors. They'll be AI.
You blowing your
You
tank.
just see a bunch of guys walking out of a tunnel, and you go, who the hell are they? Shut up, it's the hostages. We're building the sphere now. I mean, whatever at this point. I mean, what are we doing? Just bring this to an end. Enough of this. talking about this forever. Just accept. Supposedly Trump said to Bibi, "You got to take it, or we're not gonna back you anymore." Trump said it to Bibi. He's like, "We're walking away from you. You better take it." And apparently Bibi's gonna take it. I don't know, man. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this football season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. I love it. I just have so much fun. I'm sorry it's fun. Sometimes it's fun.
I'm having that.
To win. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on at least 2 players stack. You get your picks right, you can cash in. Prize Picks is the only app that offers stacks, meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. Want to pick more on Josh Allen's pass yards, rush yards, and touchdowns? Now you can pick all of them in the same lineup only on Prize Picks. Follow other Prize Picks players directly on the app and copy their lineups in one click. Whether it's a friend, a celebrity partner, or just someone whose picks you like, hit the follow button and check out every lineup they create in the new feed tab on Prize Picks. Prize Picks puts their users first, so all withdrawals are fast and secure. Prize Picks offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits in your account this football season. Download the Prize Picks app and use code TAM to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code TAM to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Netanyahu says TikTok is a crucial weapon in winning support of young American voters for Israel's cause. Well,
I got everything a real patriot can want.
a little on the nose. Here it is. Here he is, Benjamin Netanyahu, talking about
Wise
TikTok.
choice, sir. Wise choice.
He said, he talked about the woke right. And he said, I call it the woke right.
Oh.
That's a brilliant.
Is it brilliant?
The woke right. Because these people, they're not any different from the woke left and they're insane. But they're actually meeting on some of the things. And what we have to do is we have to secure that part of the base of our support in the United States. That is being challenged systematically. A lot of this is done with money. Money of NGOs, vast. Money of government, vast. Okay? We have to fight back. How do we fight back? Our influences. You can also talk to them if you have
Think about this. Just pause it for a minute. Remember when influencer was like the most annoying word, and it just meant like somebody who would ritually debase themselves for money on the internet? That's what the word influencer used to mean. Somebody who would shamelessly plug anything. Don't put an ad here. It's a great place to put an ad. But that's what influencers were. It was like when I grew up, an influencer, would be somebody who's like, we put marbles in a swimming pool. Like they would fill a kiddie pool with M&Ms and jump in it, or they would do crazy stunts and injure themselves, or they would pull pranks at the mall. Now the president of Israel is saying we are going to counter attempts to limit our support in the United States by unveiling an army of influencers where they will fight the information war on TikTok. Kind of an amazing
The revolution
turn
is
of
coming.
events that all of the major decisions in our society are going to be heavily influenced by the most shameless group of people to have ever lived. People that are hawking, like, energy drinks are now going to be the first line of defense for Israel. This is the new modern warfare. It's influencers. Modern warfare is the influencer war. The battle of TikTok, where people are going to be paid to come on TikTok and make you think that it's a good idea to keep giving money to this man and his government to do whatever they want. Because they're fighting the influencers on the other side that are telling you that's not a good idea. That's the war. The news is fake. It's right now, it's the battle of the influencers. People that are in your face all the time that you love or hate, or either trust them and they have a high trust score with their audience and they have a lot of credibility or whatever, or maybe you hate them and you hate watch them. But they're the ones that Israel's going to be giving money to. They're the ones that are going to be pushing, and it's all in front of you. You know, you say what you want about how the Edward Bernays propaganda style of like the news media and print media, print journalism, corporate advertising, product placement in TV and movies. Say what you want about all of that. This is the most out in the open thing I've ever seen. The guy's saying, he's saying, we're gonna pay people to tell you that we're doing good shit. We're paying people to come out. We have our he says, he goes, we've got our influencers. Why aren't we giving them a little bit of money? And this is probably because I said, start paying people, and they listened. I said, start paying people, and they listened. I was the one early on that's going like, wait, whoa, no one's just going to go out and watch a family burning alive and defend it for free. You're going to have to give them a couple of bucks to get people to see that, the other side of that. So that's what he's doing. He's going, yo, we got money. He goes, why aren't we giving people money? That's all. It's pretty simple. You don't know what you're looking at. That's the whole premise of this. You can't, raw images and your own innate sense of right and wrong aren't activated by like seeing a little 2-year-old run around on fire. So you have to have influencers kind of decipher that and then slant it and tell you exactly why that's good or bad. Why is that maybe good? Why is that good? Well, it's always sad when people die, but cha-ching, but it's like, it's a very sad thing, but this is ultimately being done for the future generations of Palestinians. That's what it's being done for, because they're going to be able to go to the sphere when we build it. Let's watch the rest of what he's saying here about paying influencers on social media to, in between hawking skin cream, explain to you why Greater Israel makes sense for you.
Very important. And secondly, we're going to have to use the tools of battle. You know, the weapons change over time. You can't fight today with swords. That doesn't work very well, okay? And you can't fight with cavalry. That doesn't work very well. And you have these new things, you know, like drones, things like that. I won't get into that. But we have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefields in which we're engaged. And the most important ones are in social media. And the most important purchase that is going on right now is TikTok. TikTok, number one. And I hope it goes through because it can be consequential.
You'd think they wouldn't film it. You'd think someone would just not film this. You know what I mean? You'd think there'd be someone that goes, why don't we, hey. We don't have to film this one. We don't have to film this one. I think somebody watched this back and went, yeah, maybe, let's not. We don't need to put this out. You know, Larry Ellison, who owns now, I believe, The Country. I believe Larry Ellison recently, last night, I believe Larry Ellison and his son David Ellison purchased The Country. And they gave CBS to Barry Weiss. And
thanks, man.
TikTok
Appreciate
would be
that.
the Ellisons. And then, what he's talking about is true. It's just amazing how explicit it is, and that nobody's, going, wait. And by the way, it's not even like I don't give a shit about Hamas. I'm like, guys, I care about the United States. This is not like, I don't throw my hat in the ring with any of these people that are like, the people that are hate Israel also hate America and capitalism and white people and all of that. So throwing your hat in the ring there has never made any sense to me, and I never will. These kids on Columbia campus make me feel sick. I don't think you should deport them. I don't think that, they should be, their visas should be revoked. But I have no love lost for them. I don't, it's like, I'm worried about the United States of America. This is not like, I don't care. My goal here is not, to make Gaza a lovely place for anyone. Muslim, Jew, Christian, or other. It's not what I want. That's not what anyone I know wants, by the way. It has nothing to do with us. So when you talk about TikTok and you say it's a very big, important purchase, and we've got to fight the war with the weapons we have, and the weapons evolve over time, and the weapons now are influencers, and we got to get on that game because we're losing ground to people that are rightly pointing out that we've got absolutely we're getting nothing out of this. We're getting nothing out of this. We're only diverting resources away from this country at a time when AI's around the corner. A massive transformation of our economy is around the corner. Huge amounts of people are going to have to be re-educated, not in the re-education camp sense, but like in the sense that maybe the jobs are in biotech or healthcare. All the boomers are going to retire. People need to go back to school. They need to get skills they don't have. Where's money for this? The infrastructure's crumbling. We don't have the money for this, and we're in $30-something trillion worth of debt. So why we're continuing to throw money in this has to be explained to you by an influencer, an army of influencers. Because anyone would just make the argument that this is insane. Like a 9-year-old would be able to forget Jews, Muslims, the Middle East, Christian, who cares? Just the facts on the ground of this country and what the hell is going on in this country. Is that money better off in the Middle East than it is in this country? And that's my whole thing here. And they're telling you we need to hire an army of influencers to convince you that any of this is a good idea. We know it, and then our military general, Pete Hegseth, the tough guy from Fox News, is going, we want our generals to be thin and not have beards. How about we run our own country, Pete? Wouldn't that might be good too. We're worried about fat generals and beards? And then the president of the United States goes, we're gonna be using American cities to train our troops because we're going into Portland and we're going into Chicago? This is a bit psychotic. Let's listen to this.
I told Pete we should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military, National Guard military. Because we're going into Chicago, that's a big city with an incompetent governor, stupid governor. They threw him out of his family business and he becomes governor. Not money that he made, but he ran for governor and now he criticizes us all the time. Last week they had 11 people murdered, 44 people shot. The week before that they had 5 people murdered, 28 people shot. Every weekend they lose 5, 6. If they lose 5, they're considering it a great weekend.
Well, yes, but we don't need the Marines in Chicago. I agree, the Democratic Party is in a terrible public safety. But the idea that we're going to have the Marines in Chicago, and we're going to be, so let me get this straight. I'm just trying to understand this.
You hit me.
Again, I'm a college dropout. The money to build the educational institutions and the infrastructure in America, things like hospitals, things we need, that gets shipped to Israel. The Marines and the National Guard get sent into the cities where that money could have been used to better the lives of the people. That seems to make no sense. We tell the Ukraine to keep fighting Putin, and we keep selling them weapons, and then giving them weapons, and then giving them loans, and then giving them money, and the money that could have been used in an American city
and it was like a reverberating sting, like it stung and then just kept hanging on. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, that hurt. And I only think it was a scorpion because then we found one in the hallway at the same time, right? Like right after I got stung. So I was like, oh, I'm pretty sure I got jabbed. Yeah. Same time.
Yeah, I'm hungry too.
I put everything out. The muffins are still out. I forgot to put. We're thinking, just take that thing out there. You better have killed it.
No, I killed it.
Okay, good. Look, we have a fucking scorpion around here. No, I'm just saying, I ain't one of those people. Nope. Yippee. Yeah, proud of you for getting all that done.
So now I just have my Eagle project, and then
And then we need to take a printout of what the troop has to the scout office.
let's check in.
Yes, to make sure that
Which
they're
it should be, because I think Lodge Master is the thing that all the scouting boards use it.
But yeah, we've learned from others though that you just want to make sure.
But then that gets done. I have that scout spirit thing, and then Scout Master Conference, board review, and all that.
What's Scout Spirit thing?
It's the ones like
Don't say it.
tell how you
Say it ain't so.
motion law and in everyday life.
This would leave just Nintendo and Sony doing their own thing. So there's a big rumor circulating right now, that Xbox has quit the industry. They're not going to do another one. They say, hey, Sony, Nintendo, you guys got it. Yeah. We're out here. We're just going to make games. That's it. Yeah. Woo! That's what I'm hearing. It says from a very reliable source, and the person has been leaking stuff for a long time. Like boardroom level stuff, and has been right a lot. It has been claimed by a reliable insider that Microsoft is planning some intense changes for the Xbox brand in upcoming months. First, it has been suggested that there will be a massive round of layoffs heading into Q1 of 2026, which is hardly a leap, and that the once concrete plans for the next console generation are now up in the air and might never materialize. The claims go on to suggest that the future of Xbox is in games, publishing, and not hardware, with the brand focusing on the top performing IPs within its portfolio and no longer worrying about the manufacturing of traditional consoles. Before diving in, it should be stressed that this is a pinch of salt discussion of the insider was given gas by the courageous Tom Warren during the most recent episode of Xbox Era podcast, suggesting the source knows a lot of what is going on internally. So this has been sweeping the nation. Everyone's talking. Okay? It says here this is what they wrote. Not going into too much detail, not long after the last round of playoffs. Next one should be coming in Q1 2026, by the way, and it's going to be just as massive as the last one was. Some rumblings about Xbox starting to come out were a little hard to believe. When ramifications of the I don't know what this is. Just Code B, GP Gambit, not working out. We're just starting to get properly measured. But the thing that was really stuck out to me was that suddenly really concrete plans for actual Microsoft Xbox hardware went from being definitive to up in the air, which was really starting to given that, which was pretty startling. Given that this thing was meant to be out relatively soon. I'm trying to get through this. It was one of those situations where, despite folks being told, hey, we want to pull the trigger on this in 2026, the steps you would need to take in the lead to get up to delivering the new console generation weren't being met. Lots of things that were sure things started getting pushed. The
Jizzy doesn't want to be disturbed.
Retailer pulling Xbox, and apparently they are one of many that we'll learn about soon. Yo, Costco stopped selling it. I didn't even think about that. I have a Costco membership, and I go I go a lot. I go enough, and I always see PS5 for sale, but I never see Xbox.
So racist.
To sum it up, the future of Xbox software publishing.
Every time I hear a black person that's doing better than me,
honed
I get a little
focus
pissy.
on profitable IPs.
No, that's fucking
that was
racism.
Call
That's
of
just how
Duty.
I was raised,
Nevertheless, Call of Duty.
it was still that era.
Cloud gaming.
People don't
being
remember.
the
I can
home
remember
of
when there weren't
Xbox
very many
platforms,
rich black
transitioning
people.
Game Pass is basically becoming the point of entry.
There just weren't. That's
Yeah, I heard
started.
about
You know,
all
I'm
that
sure
crap.
there were, but we
No.
didn't really hear about them. That was part of the '80s. Is that
I'm
started
just like,
changing.
are
The
you
Cosby
serious?
Show, the
Are you
Jeffersons,
serious?
and then all the
You know,
music.
serve
Yeah.
commercials before the games. That never has gone
But yeah,
down
it's
well
just
at
some
all.
deep-seated childhood.
Yeah, there's some broke dudes that,
Dang,
you know,
yep.
if it's free, they'll take advantage of it, but I don't think as a whole it would work.
Motherfucker going to Costco all the
Well,
time? I've been to Costco, motherfucker.
I have another article right here.
I got a member.
I
that
ain't got no
says
Costco
Microsoft
fucking membership. A
addresses
black man's got a
rumors surrounding
Costco membership and I don't? Oh,
future.
fuck.
Microsoft has
What?
addressed
Some
the
deep-seated
rumors,
shit.
suggesting that the future of Xbox hardware is up in the air.
Okay.
In a statement provided to Windows Central, Microsoft says that it's actively investing in the future of Xbox systems. So you believe them or you don't believe. You believe them or you don't believe them. All right. I heard about the whole thing with them saying that they wouldn't raise the price of Game Pass, and they did. Just like the FTC
sometimes
or
it
whatever
happens. You like
was worried they would, and they did.
you keep failing it, and then you figure out you're
quote, "We are
completely
actively
doing it
investing in the future,
the wrong way."
in our future first-party consoles and devices designed, engineered, and built by Xbox. For more details, the community can revisit our agreement announcement with AMD. All right, there it is. Y'all tell me what y'all think. What do I think? I don't even play Xbox. Okay, mine is the paperweight.
It's that
in my
time of the
living
week
room.
again.
Okay.
Your
I have
provider's
it positioned
about to
behind
make
the
that
TV
special call.
with everything ready to be hooked up.
If I think for a
ever
moment
want to
that one
play
of
it,
you
but it's
hoes
sitting there with a
tested me,
layer of dust on it. Okay? I don't trust them.
You better
I
make a
don't
bigger cut
trust
this
them.
week, Jizz.
So,
We're running
it is
low,
what it
honey.
is. All
Shut up,
the
bitch. I'm
gaming
handling
companies
Don't you
have done
even
something
raise your
to
voice
piss
in your
gamers
house.
off,
Shut up,
or
bitch.
gamers
you
in the
funky
past.
ass.
What a dick.
I
You know that's Charlie
absolutely
Murphy?
feel like I would never.
Hey,
go
Jizzy, I
to
need to
the
holler at you.
I had to look it up. I thought it was.
With the pricing, Switch 2, and listen. I was about to give them a second chance. Just watch my video. I'll link my video. Just watch my video. I hate Nintendo.
I'm
You will
imperfect.
understand
You know, like,
how
hey, not a kind man, not a wise man,
just
you know,
deep
not a smart man, but
when I was in
dear
my
Lord, I
teens.
tried. No, you fucked up when you trusted me.
And you understand. This dude says
I tried.
Yeah. And they just lost in the trust. I'm a PlayStation guy through and through. Okay? I got the 360 when it came out. When everybody got it. I got the Ring of Death. All that stuff that happened to me. That made me lose confidence in them. And then I went back to PlayStation with PlayStation 3 and 4. And I've never left. I'm a PlayStation guy through and through. So, Nintendo, they in this patent crap I'm hearing about with them, with the summoning patent crap. See, I didn't do a lot of videos on this stuff, but I heard about
Just
it.
need to kind of follow.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe I really do every single thing that I mentioned in this. But, I was like, the evil greed of that patent is just mind-boggling. I'm just, no. Something, and the fact that it was allowed, either the person that allowed it doesn't understand gaming, or they paid off, or something. It doesn't make sense to do something like that. It's like saying you can't sell fries at a burger joint. So many games use the summoning thing, you know what I mean? Come on. 10 million.
You wrecking my ride.
Our good friends at Palantir, Peter Thiel, and our good friends at Palantir, Peter Thiel, Satan, and many others,
CJ,
are
brother, you
looking
have to
to
reconsider your
expand
position.
Palantir into being a lifestyle brand because what they've realized.
What a time
Well, Peter Thiel, by the way, came out recently and said that regulating AI hastens the Antichrist. When Ross Douthat at the New York Times was like, hey, don't you think, like, if people were looking at who would be the
Antichrist. It might be
I can fix
you.
anything for you
And
in
he's
this
like,
town.
actually, it would be
Anything.
Greta Thunberg. Now, Greta Thunberg may or may not be annoying, but it is interesting that Peter Thiel thinks that some chick on a flotilla trying to bring rice to Gaza is more likely to be Satan than the guy building autonomous drone armies.
DJ, you're a fool!
Again, I'm not a theologist. Now, Peter Thiel, get this, Palantir is going to become a lifestyle brand. Peter Thiel has realized that the focus has been for too long on drones and Satan. And I think they come at a meeting at Palantir and they said, Peter, you know, everything with you is facial recognition software and the devil. Why don't you branch out? So what they're trying to do right now is rebrand Palantir so that it's kind of like a fun Lululemon.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here.
You know, probably involves some wearables.
I think I might have
Defense
to
tech giant Palantir.
read what I'm doing wrong.
T-shirts and tote bags as
I
part
cannot
of a
get his car off the road,
to
dude.
encourage fans to publicly endorse. Palantir is sick
Cannot get
of the
that guy's
bad
car off
press.
the road.
They're sick of people pointing out that they're exporting technology all over the world for the purposes of death. They want to change that image. They want it to be cool. A Palantir shirt, a tote, a hoodie. The game is merch. Turn Palantir into a lifestyle. Surveillance is a lifestyle. Mass death is a lifestyle. The big picture. The Denver-based company releases new merch online last Thursday as part of a push by leadership to transform it into a lifestyle brand. The launch took place a week before the prototype of Palantir's new tracking tool created for ICE is expected. Palantir is has a new tracking tool.
Yeah, but it's faster to ride a bike across the town than to drive.
And just them, by the way. It's a peculiar strategy for a company that's inked billions in defense contracts with the federal government and drawn scrutiny over its escalated role within the Trump administration. Folks, you can't build a digital police state without selling a tote bag. This is how crazy everything's become. Can't you just be evil? Can anyone just be evil anymore? Can anything just be evil? You can't. Everybody wants to be applauded for doing the worst things ever. No one can just do them and make lots of money. They also have to be, like, applauded. In the public square and loved. They want to be cool. You did it. You're doing all the things. Your dreams have come true. You're identifying and killing people all over the planet with your technology. Your company's doing it. The company you started is identifying targets and helping unmanned autonomous drones fire at those targets all over the world. You're surveilling people. You're using facial recognition technology. Isn't it enough that you've made your dreams come true? You've made your dreams come true. Every young kid walking around Stanford wants to do what you've done. Put his fellow citizens in a digital cage and then finally eliminate their physical beings. But you did it! Hard work, determination, believing in yourself. You know the shit Gary Vee talks about. Betting on yourself. You know, hustle, grind. You did it! You're gonna put the country in a digital prison, and the people that step out of line are gonna get vaporized with your technology.
Hey, close the window, please.
Sitting in a dorm room as a young guy with a couple of buddies talking about the possibilities of tech, and here we are.
I'm listening to Tim Dillon congratulate the Ivy League bros for building the coming Eye of Sauron Overlord Palantir.
How beautiful! A digital file with all of our health data, a protest we've attended, a police record, public intoxication? Oh, weren't you the wild man? All of it stored by the government. It's beautiful. Why do you need to sell tote bags? Why do people have to be happy about their imprisonment? Why must people be? This is the thing I hate about the tech people, and then I actually feel this is why I got to throw my hat in with the finance guys, even Mr. Rubin, because at the end of the day, finance people just wanted to take your shit. They didn't need you to feel good about them doing it. They didn't need to be applauded for doing it. They just wanted to take the things that you had and keep them for themselves. But Palantir can't handle the fact that people have soured on them. So they're constantly trying to get people interested in their brand by giving lectures on the Antichrist and by doing shirts and tote bags. It's edgy. Ooh, you can piss people off with a Palantir shirt. Ooh, those libtards at Christmas are gonna get mad when you walk in with a Palantir hat. How's your stock doing? It's pathetic. Pathetic.
He's building a killer half
By
pipe
the
in the
way,
backyard.
it's pathetic. You're gonna be an edgelord with Palantir. You're gonna edgelord with a Palantir shirt, you loser. It's ridiculous. It's insane. See if you can get one 3X for me. Have him send it. Ironically, but the point is, the Palantir Aura Ring involves a partnership where Palantir provides infrastructure and security for Aura's enterprise platform for the DoD rather than a partnership with it. So this is a wearable. That's coming. They want the wearables. They want the wearables. That is coming. They are building the
My plastic. Voy hablando normalmente ahora. Hey, how's it going? What's going on? Have you ever been in a threesome? Yeah, it's bad. See ya, buddy. I got my piece of one-man gangbuster.
Whatever.
My suit. Killer, right?
They found me. Hey, handsome.
Greetings, mi amor.
It's looking bad.
World is like a Yukon. Looking for a problem, puto? Careful! Come on, man, move! You find that?
Started watching the show randomly.
Yeah.
And it's like a classic black and white 1950s like film noir, but it's an anime, and the main
You don't have the
character's
cooties, do you?
head is a gun. And it's kind of drawn in that JoJo style too.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's got characters.
Very bad for you. Oh, this fool. Me, 5-0.
You ain't getting in.
With Trump, with taxpayer money. They know the dollar's going to crash. They know we're headed into a world war. They know AI is going to be very disruptive to jobs over the next 10 years. They're going to have to quell massive civil unrest. I hate to beat a dead horse here. I don't want to. I don't want to keep saying all this, but it's all true. This is what's happening. And I know this. I hear this from smart people, and so do you. It's not like I know anything you don't. It's just what it is. Everybody knows this. Everyone feels it. We don't only know it, we feel it in our bones. We have to renegotiate our relationship with these people. I'm very interested in politicians who want to renegotiate our relationship with these people, our Bill of Rights in this new digital age. I'm very interested in politicians who want to talk about that. Left, right, or center, I don't give a fuck. I don't care if it's AOC or Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't care who it is. If you're interested in renegotiating American people's ability to opt out of certain things or to be protected digitally. Now, of course, it's going to be tough. It's going to be difficult, but that's what interests me. Those are the issues that interest me. They're going to make gay marriage and abortion look like a joke pretty soon, or whatever other cultural issues that people want to fight about, trans, bathrooms, whatever it is. This is coming. It's coming very quickly. That's what interests me. The politician who steps up and goes, I understand Chinese in the bottle and we can't put AI back in its box. But why are we not thinking about ways to regulate AI? Why are we not thinking about privacy? Why are we not thinking about a human being's God-given right to live unmolested by extreme surveillance technology? Nobody has any interest in that. In fact, Peter Thiel's going, you're Satan if you try to stop my product. You try to limit artificial intelligence, you try to regulate it in any way, you're Satan. You're Satan. We need progress in America. America's about progress.
The 2x2s The 2x2s are one of the most enigmatic and anti-institutional Christian denominations to ever exist precisely because they refuse to adopt an official name, possess no physical church buildings, print no official literature, and have no written organizational structure. They refer to themselves simply as followers of the way or the truth. This has led many researchers and former members to dub them the Nameless Sect, or more commonly the 2x2s, referencing their method of evangelism, always traveling in pairs, just as described in Luke 10 verse 1. Founded in the late 19th century by William Irvine in Ireland, they believe that all other Christian denominations have gone astray by forming man-made organizations. The only true way to be God's people, they claim, is to follow the New Testament pattern, having no permanent home, remaining unmarried, and preaching the gospel 2x2 without accepting a salary. Their worship services are held discreetly in the homes of followers. They reject the use of crosses, instrumental music, or any religious symbols, and they vehemently oppose formal liturgy or systematic theology. Many members don't even realize they are part of a global denomination, as everything is framed as a simple local fellowship. Critics call them a reclusive sect that practices subtle social control through guilt and doctrinal exclusivity. Yet remarkably, they persist today in over 50 countries, steadfastly maintaining their principle of no name, no structure, a striking irony for a group that claims to be the one true church. The Aetherius Society. The Aetherius Society is one of the most peculiar denominations to ever merge Christianity, Eastern cosmology, and ufology into a unique religion that believes Jesus was an extraterrestrial from Venus. It was founded by Dr. George King, a London cab driver and yoga enthusiast, who claimed that in 1954 he began receiving telepathic transmissions from an alien entity named Aetherius, who identified himself as a cosmic master. According to their teachings, the planets in our solar system are inhabited by highly evolved spiritual beings tasked with protecting Earth from self-destruction. They believe that Jesus, Buddha, and Krishna were all cosmic masters from other planets who came to save humanity. In fact, King claimed that Jesus now resides on Venus, existing as a high-frequency spiritual energy undetectable by human instruments.
Come on, dude.
The Aetherius Society practices rituals designed to channel spiritual energy to Earth using a device called a spiritual energy battery to store collective prayers.
There's no free will, dude.
Such as beaming love energy into global conflict zones to prevent wars or natural disasters. They also believe in a sort of interplanetary parliament that governs humanity's spiritual evolution, and that one day mankind will join a spiritual galactic federation.
Which one am I on,
In a unique
dude?
twist, they
Which
claim
mission am
that
I
several
on?
major nuclear
Jesus,
catastrophes
I
have
don't know
already
the
been averted by these
exactly.
extraterrestrials.
It'll be something. I'll look it up.
Though it sounds like something out of a B-movie sci-fi plot, the Aetherius Society remains active in the UK and US today, complete with radio podcasts, worship rites, and maps of
time I've done it. I
spiritual
don't know.
missions.
It's
Proof that when it comes to faith, the sky is
something
apparently
obviously severely wrong.
The Christian Israelites. The Christian Israelites are a unique Christian denomination.
No, you're
that
talking about my
believes
life.
They are the literal
I get it.
descendants
I get it.
of the 10 lost tribes of Israel, and that true Christians must physically return to observing the laws of Moses while still accepting Jesus as the Messiah. The movement was founded by John Rowe, a British textile merchant in the early 19th century. After claiming to receive divine revelations in 1822, he declared that God's chosen people were not modern Jews, but rather a select group of Anglo-Saxon Christians who were the true heirs to God's covenant with Israel. Rowe became the movement's central figure, claiming prophetic powers and establishing a new Zion in the town of Ashton-under-Lyne, England. He even planned to build 4 gateways to this new Jerusalem, though only one was ever completed. After scandals and moral accusations, he fled to Australia, where the movement has survived to this day as a small community in New South Wales. Their teachings are an extreme syncretism of Judaism, Christianity, and ethnic identity theory, emphasizing a kosher diet, Sabbath observance, and Jewish holidays. However, they reject circumcision and believe Jesus will physically return to lead the spiritual nation of Israel, which is, of course, themselves. Uniquely, they view death not as an end, but as a stage toward physical immortality, believing that the perfectly righteous will never biologically die. While not directly harmful, their exclusive teachings reflect how concepts of racial identity, religion, and eschatology can merge into a theology that is both profoundly deviant and profoundly confusing. Moonies, the Unification Church, widely known by the nickname Moonies, is an international religious movement founded by Sun Myung Moon, a South Korean man who claimed that Jesus Christ personally appeared to him and asked him to complete the mission of world salvation that had failed 2,000 years ago. According to Moon, Jesus' crucifixion was a tragic historical mistake because Jesus died before he could marry and have children. Total redemption was never achieved. In his teachings, Moon and his wife Hak Ja-han were the new messianic couple sent to establish God's true family on earth. Their doctrine is laid out in their own scripture, the divine principle, which blends Christianity, Confucianism, Eastern spirituality, and a highly hierarchical organizational structure. One of their most famous practices is the mass wedding, ceremonies where thousands of couples from different countries are married simultaneously, often after being matched by Moon himself. They believe these holy unions are the key to reversing humanity's original sin. At its peak, the Unification Church had millions of global followers, a massive business empire, media outlets, including the Washington Times, and international political influence. However, they also drew widespread criticism for alleged brainwashing, behavioral control, and aggressive fundraising tactics. After Moon's death in 2012, the movement fractured, but a significant portion remains active, with his wife continuing in the role of true mother. For many, the Moonies are the ultimate example of how one man can create a global alternative to the gospel, complete with a parallel ideology, family structure, and church hierarchy that rivals the Vatican's and replaces Jesus with himself. The Nawabian Nation. The Nawabian Nation was one of the most syncretic and bizarre pseudo-Christian movements in modern American history. Led by the charismatic musician and preacher Dwight York, the group began as an offshoot of the Nation of Islam in the 1970s, but slowly morphed into a wild amalgamation of Christianity, ancient Egyptian mythology, UFO theories, reincarnation doctrines, and black supremacy. York proclaimed himself to be various holy incarnations, including Jesus, Muhammad, Melchizedek, and even the Egyptian god Ra. They believed that the black race was the original human race and that slavery and colonialism were the result of a conspiracy by an alien race called the Anunnaki. The church taught that the first humans came from a planet named Risk, and that spiritual awakening would come through metaphysical knowledge, not salvation through Christ. Although their doctrines borrowed Christian terminology like church and prophet or holy scripture, everything was twisted into an absurd and unverifiable alternative version. In the late 1990s, they built giant Egyptian-style temples in Georgia, complete with pyramids, statues of Anubis, and mystical symbols, making their compound look like some kind of mystical Disneyland. But in 2002, the fantasy came crashing down when York was arrested on over 100 counts of child molestation, including victims from within his own group. He is now serving a 135-year federal prison sentence. Following his arrest, the Nawabian Nation structurally collapsed, but its influence lingers in certain New Age and Afrofuturist communities. The movement stands as a stark testament to how religion can be scrambled with myth, racialism, and pseudoscience, all wrapped in the unstoppable charisma of its leader. The Church Universal and Triumphant. The Church Universal and Triumphant, CUT, was an extreme blend of Christian mysticism, New Age philosophy, and Cold War paranoia, led by Elizabeth Clare Prophet, who claimed to be a messenger for the Ascended Masters, highly evolved spiritual beings like Jesus El Moria and Saint Germain. The cult grew out of the 20th century Theosophy movement, but took a much harder turn when Elizabeth took over leadership from her late husband, Mark Prophet, and moved their headquarters to a massive ranch in Montana. At its core, the church believed the world was on the brink of nuclear annihilation, and that only faithful CUT followers could be saved. They were taught to practice decrees and chant loud chanted mantras in a Christianized style, use a violet flame for spiritual cleansing, and establish a self-sufficient community complete with private nuclear fallout shelters. In the late 1980s, her followers built millions of dollars worth of underground bunkers stocked with food, water, and weapons to survive the doomsday she prophesied from 1990. The U.S. government investigated CUT for illegal arms stockpiling and environmental violations, and the mass paranoia they fostered earned them the label of a dangerous cult. When the apocalypse failed to materialize, many followers grew disillusioned and left, though the movement never completely dissolved. Today, the church still exists in a smaller, quieter form. but it retains its ascended master teachings and spiritual practices that merge Jesus with concepts of reincarnation and cosmic energy. CUT is a classic example of how Christianity can be warped into a militant apocalyptic movement armed with spiritual doctrines, real weapons, and bunkers. The Assemblies of Yahweh. The Assemblies of Yahweh is one of the most unique and insular fundamentalist Christian groups, primarily because they explicitly forbid using the name Jesus and believe that only the original Hebrew names for God are valid in worship. Founded by Jacob O. Meyer in Pennsylvania in 1969, they teach that the name Jesus is a linguistic corruption of the true Hebrew name Yeshua, and that using titles like God or Lord is a form of blasphemy against the sacred name Yahweh. The group is extremely rigid in its linguistics, liturgy, and adherence to Old Testament law. They observe Saturday as the Sabbath, follow a kosher diet, celebrate Hebrew feast days like Passover and the Day of Atonement, and reject all symbols or practices they deem to be Christian paganism. This includes the cross, Christmas, modern Easter, and even the structure of denominational churchianity itself. What makes them even more extreme is their claim of exclusive salvation. They believe that only those who call upon the name of Yahweh correctly and obey his laws will be saved. They consider all other Christian churches to be apostate and led by a spiritual Babylon. The Assemblies of Yahweh has its own school, radio station, and prints its own version of the Bible, the Sacred Scriptures. The group also staunchly rejects the Trinity, holding the view that Jesus, Yeshua, was merely Yahweh's supreme messenger, not God himself. While not large in number, they are ideologically militant and reject nearly all forms of church modernity. They are an extreme case of obsession with names, laws, and exclusivity, making them one of the most un-Christian Christian groups in existence. The End Time Handmaidens. The End Time Handmaidens, now known as Global Outpouring, is a charismatic apocalyptic movement founded by Sister Gwen Shaw, a female missionary and evangelist who claimed to receive direct revelations that the end times were imminent. She believed God was calling forth spiritual brides to prepare for the return of Christ. The movement primarily targets women with the term handmaidens, referencing Mary, the mother of Jesus, in Luke 1:38. Behold the handmaid of the Lord. The group flourished in the 1970s charismatic revival where dreams, prophecies, speaking in tongues, and spiritual warfare were considered proof of the Holy Spirit's presence. Followers believe they have an intimate, mystical, and spiritual relationship with Jesus, who is often referred to in prayers and songs as the lover of our soul. They see themselves as Christ's spiritual brides who must maintain purity, fast, pray, and prophesy about the world's coming destruction. The movement often hosts global conferences called the World Convention of End Time Handmaidens and Servants, which feature a mix of prophetic preaching, spiritual dancing, and mass exorcisms. While there are male followers called servants, the primary emphasis remains on women as conduits for prophecy and God's mystical love. Though not doctrinally heretical in a traditional sense, their highly intimate worship style and spiritual relationship with Jesus led many outsiders to view them as an eccentric cult full of religious dramatization. The movement is still active today, though it has rebranded to avoid the strange stigma of the term handmaidens. Nevertheless, they remain a unique example of feminine Christian mysticism blended with an end-time obsession and a nearly theatrical transcendental experience.
I'm grumpy because I haven't eaten.
The Process Church of the Final Judgment. The Process Church of the Final Judgment was one of the most controversial and surreal cults to emerge from the 1960s counterculture. Founded by the husband and wife team Robert de Grimston and Marianne McLean, both former Scientologists, the group blended Jungian psychology, occultism, apocalyptic theology, and an alternative form of Christianity. Their most shocking belief that Jehovah, Lucifer, Satan, and Christ were four divine aspects that needed to be reconciled, not opposed. According to their teachings, the world would face a final judgment where humans would be sorted based on which entity they served. Christ for the compassionate, Lucifer for the intelligent and aesthetic, Jehovah for the law-abiding, and Satan for the strong and rebellious. Bizarrely, they didn't worship Satan in the context of pure evil, but saw him as part of a cosmic balance. The harmonious reconciliation of Christ and Satan was the core of their theology. With their black symbols, dark robes, and Gothic-like aesthetic, they were briefly suspected of influencing Charles Manson, though this was never proven. Their magazine, process, featured interviews with counterculture figures like Mick Jagger, and was filled with dark illustrations and apocalyptic poetry. By the late 1970s, the organization fractured and eventually morphed into an animal welfare charity called Best Friends Animal Society, which is now the largest no-kill animal sanctuary in the United States. But the legacy of their occultism and insane theological doctrines lives on in cult literature and American history. The Process Church stands as extreme proof that with a compelling enough narrative, you can even unite Christ and Satan in a single act of worship, and people will still show up. The Reborn in Christ Church. The Reborn in Christ Church, or Igreja Renascer em Cristo, is one of Brazil's most famous and most controversial mega-churches. Founded by the husband and wife duo Estevam and Sonia Hernandez in Sao Paulo in 1986, the church combines prosperity theology, extreme charismaticism, modern gospel music, and a celebrity lifestyle. But what lands it on this list are its borderline megalomaniacal claims and actions. At its peak, the church boasted hundreds of thousands of members, over 1,200 branches, and its own media network, including TV, radio, and a music label. They became notorious for commandeering the Estadio do Pacaembu, an iconic soccer stadium, as their primary place of worship and dubbing it the Porta do Céu, the Heaven's Gate, claiming that anyone who attended services there would receive special blessings and a direct line to salvation. The church was also known for mixing worship with massive spiritual rock concerts, mass exorcisms, and hyper-apocalyptic rhetoric. They sold items like anointing oil, holy soil from Israel, and even seeds of faith that they claimed could produce financial miracles. However, in 2007, the founding couple was arrested in Miami for attempting to smuggle large amounts of cash and was later convicted of money laundering. In 2009, the roof of their main church building in Sao Paulo collapsed, killing 9 people and further tarnishing their reputation. Despite this, the church remains active today, albeit with a smaller following. The Reborn in Christ Church shows how prosperity theology, media power, and extreme charismaticism can spiral into a spiritual project that looks more like a religious business empire, with a stadium for a temple and a CEO.
This is a TYT exclusive. A friend of the show sent me this story. He runs a company, and he got a curious email just the other day. And it said that it was from Alec Walker. Okay, we'll talk in a minute about whether that's a real person. And they wrote what seemed to be a professional email complaining about something happening at the company. They said formal complaint regarding employee behavior. Now, if you run a company, that's a very important thing and a serious matter, so you look into that seriously, and that's why they frame it that way. And obviously, we took out here the name of the company and the employee that this group was targeting, right? So I'll fill in Acme for the company and Jane Doe for the person, right? So they say, "Dear Acme team, I'm writing to formally file a complaint concerning the behavior of one of your employees, Jane Doe, as exhibited on her social media platforms." Interesting. For an extended period, they continue, Jane Doe has publicly shared content that promotes hate and intolerance towards the United States, Republican values, Israel, and right-wing Colombian political parties. These actions are clearly visible on her social media accounts, particularly her Facebook profile, which I have linked below for your reference. As a U.S. citizen, I find such conduct deeply troubling, especially given that she represents a professional and reputable company like Acme. As a serious and respected company, I trust that Acme will take this matter seriously and address the behavior of its employees in a manner that aligns with the values of professionalism, respect, and tolerance. Thank you for your attention to this issue. I look forward to your prompt response and the appropriate steps being taken. Kind regards, Alec Walker, concerned U.S. citizen. Okay, let's pause there for a second. Now, this email is curious in several different ways. The brother mentions twice, remember, I am a U.S. citizen.
Come on, camera. Don't screw me.
An email to a company, they're like, "Hey, Nike, I'm really upset about the Colin Kaepernick thing. And remember, I am a concerned U.S. citizen." Okay, so look, these are all little flags until you see what she is accused of in a second specifically. But so that's a little bit of a red flag. The second red flag is,
I need you to meet me at Pier
why
69.
are you
We gonna take
trolling
down the loco
and through the social media account of one of my employees when you got nothing to do with the company? That's weird, right? And so that doesn't normally ever happen.
Yeah, that really helps.
But this is an outside person who claims to care a lot about this company, but has never interacted with the company before, not a customer, not related to the company in any way, shape, or form. But this outside person, Alec Walker,
We had to shoot out the
is
tire
very upset
of the guy's
with
car
Jane Doe's.
before he started the mission.
So now, if you're a company in
Before
America,
you
you
went
have to
to the
take that
club,
very, very seriously.
which, you know, makes sense.
So this
Makes
company
sense.
did, so they
Makes
looked
it a lot
into
easier.
it, and they actually inquired further. They said, thank you for bringing this to our attention. We take matters of conduct that violate our values and principles very seriously. Can you send us screenshots of the content you're referring to that you feel promotes the hate and intolerance towards the U.S.? We are unable to see that. Because they looked through her social media and they looked through her Facebook that was linked in that original email. They found nothing about Colombian parties. They found nothing insulting Republicans or America. But they did find one and only one thing. That this person had changed their profile on Facebook to include the Palestinian flag. Now, the Palestinian flag is not an insult to Israelis or Jews or anyone, although sometimes the zealots in Israel say, I mean, the idea that the Palestinians would be human enough to have sovereignty over a state, no way. They're violent savages, and they never should have a state. By the way, that is the official position of the Israeli government. They voted on that and said the Palestinians should never be allowed to have a state. So this person is a person that's totally random, not in media, not in politics, not in public life at all. So what it appears that they're doing is they are sending, look, do I know that it's created by AI? I don't. But does it look like it's created by AI? Yes. So the reason why, if it's created by AI, it's so important is they could send millions of these. They troll through social media accounts of all of you guys. And if they find anything that's even just supportive of Palestinians as human beings and them having rights, that's it. They're going to try to get you fired. So if there's one of these emails, that means there are very, very likely thousands of these emails at a minimum. Because look at how slight the theoretical offense against Israel. And then there's a subterfuge. Oh, I'm worried about Colombia? I'm worried about her attacking Republican values? No, this is only about Israel because of the flag. Guys, that means that Israeli interests are coming for you. And so sometimes there's some people say that on TV, and I'm like, really? I mean, somebody criticizes Trump. What does that have to do with whether they're going to come after a random Republican family in Missouri? Or about, you attack Biden, but it's not coming after Democrats. No, this is it appears to be a concerted effort to target the average American who would dare to dissent about Israel and get them fired. That is beyond disturbing. So let's talk about it. Now, Senator Nina Turner's from Ohio, and she was a state senator there. She also ran for Congress from the Cleveland area in Ohio. She was targeted by the Israeli lobbies, Democratic Majority for Israel, among others. So, but Nina, when you were targeted, you're in politics, and you kind of expect AIPAC to come after you if you think Palestinians are equal to Israelis. Like, that's an unacceptable thought for them. And you did believe that. This seems to be taking it to a whole new level. What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I agree with that, Jink. And no, I did not expect them to come after me like that. I mean, when I served in Ohio Senate, AIPAC or DMFI, those lobbies weren't, swirling in our universe in the way they do when you come on the federal level. I mean, I was absolute, Jink, and you were there and others are just mortified by the fact that just because I think that there should be justice and security for both peoples, that somehow I crossed the line. But I'll put that in the parking lot. Jink, I always sign my emails concern U.S. citizen. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't know I was a bot. I mean, that's how I sign all my stuff, is concerned U.S. citizen. No, but seriously, no, we should all be concerned about this and the fact that the media itself is never going to draw attention to this mainstream media. So thank God for TYT The fact that the ultra wealthy are gobbling up and infiltrating the social media spaces that we have, so that makes independent media like TYT even that much more important. And yes, if they target this person, they are coming for the rest of us. And for the love of God, I do not understand why the Congress wouldn't want to regulate this kind of stuff to protect free speech. But I guess free speech depends on who you're talking to.
So Jordan,
talking about.
Yeah, well, certainly. Jordan, if there's one of these emails, now we don't know that there are others, but likely there are, aren't there?
Oh, absolutely. And it goes just beyond emails. Canary Mission, other groups like that, Batar, they have been assembling websites with full directories of campus activists who have publicly supported Palestinians or been critical of Israel. And these are not to keep tabs on actual hate or anti-Semitism. It is to try to prevent these people, once they graduate college, from ever getting hired. They're using employment, they're using economic stability as a tool to try to suppress this movement, and it's not going to work. Unfortunately, the Trump administration has relied on those directories to find foreign students and target them for deportation. But I'll tell you what that looks like for citizens who are on there. Because it's not just Israel they've done this for. There was attempts to suppress people for being critical of Trump during the first administration. And I can tell you that from experience because it happened to me. I was working at an HBCU in Washington, D.C. Shortly after Trump took office. I wasn't involved in politics, but I was using my social media accounts to talk about politics, and I was very critical of Trump. Somebody emailed the dean of the law school that I was working at to try to get me fired because I was critical of Trump. Now, when they came to me, the dean obviously thought that was ridiculous because they weren't going to crack down on my speech because of my viewpoint. They understood the law. And what that did was it inspired me to be more active. Now, flash forward to today, because in part of my social media use, I'm sitting here looking at you. So I can tell you, this is not going to work. Trying to suppress people's speech is only going to make them louder.
Yeah. Look, if I'm a regular average American and some country tries to get me fired for saying I'm against a genocide, and by the way, they didn't even say that.
The amount of cars.
All they did
this
was
game is all about predicting
moral crime of
it is
apparently
the whole
putting
thing,
up a
dude.
Palestinian
It's just
flag on their social
it's
media profile.
vulgar.
And that
the
was
whole
referred
game
to as
does like
in this
it's
country.
vulgar, dude. I guess we need to invent language
like
for
this
this,
don't
you
have
know what I
any
mean?
power. They lose
Through
that
art
job.
form, but like, yeah, it
Trump.
just gets very
They can't make
vulgar,
their rent.
dude.
They can't make their mortgage. Their family's screwed.
I guess it's
Why?
cute, or at
Because
least
a
to think
foreign
it was
government
cute, or if you're a
decided
computer
that
guy, you think
they
it's
needed to be targeted
cute, or
and
you're
canceled,
impressed
and
by,
their
you know,
lives
the technical
ruined
wizardry of it. I
for
don't
daring
know.
to
Yeah,
for a
like, dude, if you're
microscopic disagreement with a foreign government. And
like
so,
it's not,
and to
anyway.
the point that you guys
It's a little
made,
creepy, dude.
look,
It's a little bit
as
creepy,
always,
dude.
we explain super clearly because, and I'll show it to you with evidence. This has nothing to do with religion. It has to do with a government. So, Israeli interests also targeted not just
No,
Nina
and then
Turner, not just Marie Newman, Jamal Bowman, Corey Bush,
when you
Tom
play a
Massey,
20-year-old
etc.
game and you see how much
But they
it is
also
about predicting
targeted Andy
you
Levin,
and doing,
who
and
is
then
a Jewish American who just said
looking
he wants
back,
a
you
two-state
saw how
solution.
life
He's totally pro-Israel.
and now
They're
we
like,
have
not good enough.
Palantir, and you're like,
You
dude, this
consider the
was all,
Palestinians
that's what you guys were
human
even
enough
doing
to have
back
their own
then.
independent state, and they spent $4 million making sure they lost. There was a group called Masada
You were
2000
using video games as a
that
beta.
created a list of 8,000 self-hating Jews, according to them, and tried to get them fired. So this has been going on for a long time. Now it's reached an industrial scale, and I'm afraid the way that this email is written, that they might be using AI to put it on just a total nationwide scale where they try to eliminate almost all of Israel's enemies down to the normal average Americans that have absolutely nothing to do with politics. All right, Nina, last word?
No, I'm just thinking America first. You know, what happened to that? I don't get these American firsters. They should be outraged because no other foreign government would be able to do right-wing government or left-wing. No other foreign government would be able to pull something off like this, Jink and Jordan. So I'm really confused. I am.
Yeah, but to be fair to them, for the MAGA America First guys under the age of 50, they're gone. They do hate this, and they are being consistent and principled about it. And so, and that's why Israel's in a little bit of trouble. But hey, you know, people have already started writing in saying that they might have similar stories to this among our members. So if you have a similar story, pitches at tytnetwork.com. Pitches at tytnetwork.com.
Good Boy is a horror film whose concept I find to be really interesting. It's a horror film from the perspective of a dog. Not a POV, it's not Cloverfield from the eyes of a dog like that episode of Rugrats with Spike. It is a horror film where the dog is the main character and you follow all of what happens and unfolds from that character. And I just saw it. It's really good. I'm happy to say that it is a very solid film that I think utilized its concept really well. It's a gimmick that doesn't fall flat. It actually just feels like it elevates a very tense haunting. Now, admittedly, the story isn't the most, innovative piece when it comes to its narrative. It's not trying to reinvent the condom or anything. While it seems like it's just a pretty standard haunted house movie, it does have its own spin on it that changes certain... I've been getting into spoilers for so many of these things, but for this one I'm going to avoid it. It does do something a little different with the concept and caters it more to a deeper meaning, especially to a dog. I'm finding it hard to get the right words across without just spoiling it, but most of what you're going to see are things that you've seen in other horror films when it comes to like its scares or like its tension building, but there is a deeper meaning to it, albeit I don't think it's one that really is a game changer for a horror narrative or anything, but it's not like I'm disappointed by that. You get your jump scares, then your music cuts out, it's silent, then nothing. You get all of that, the same formula there, but using the dog as the main character and having that perspective does make it feel fresher. Like, it does breathe a little more life into it. And the way the movie is shot, I think, is extraordinary. I really like the cinematography here. I think they have some very creative shots that help elevate things that otherwise would be pretty stale in other movies. So, since you follow the dog, you never really see, the full face of his owner, Todd. And Todd is sick. Todd is very ill, and he moves back to the old family home where multiple generations of their family have died at a young age. And his sister really doesn't like that, so she's trying to convince him not to and tries to talk to him pretty often to get him out of there. He refuses. And he takes his dog, Indy, to this house to live with him, their new home together. The house is haunted, and there's a lot of spooky noises going on, and some kind of weird monster creature that shows up occasionally before disappearing and stuff, and it's trying to, get Indy and get Todd. And this entire time, you spend the whole movie following Indy. And since you're following Indy, you never really see, a full picture of things that includes Todd. So you never really even, see his face. You get, these silhouetted outlines of him pretty often. When he's watching TV, you'll see TV from, a bigger perspective because to a dog it's much larger. And then you'll see some things out of the corner. And it's really cool. I love the way some of the shots look, and it makes it more tense. And I think the choice to follow the dog makes you naturally more emotionally invested, especially if you're already a dog fan. If you already have some pets of your own, you're going to feel, I think, a lot more emotional in certain scenes where the dog conveys so much. It really does seem fear and being frightened and analyzing the unknown. What does it all mean? And not fully understanding what's going on, with Todd and wanting to be there for Todd. He's so loyal to Todd. I think the dog actor Indy did an amazing job. And interestingly enough, at the end of the film, the director, Ben, is talking about how they made this. And Indy is not a trained dog actor. It's just Ben's dog. So him and his wife and his dog, over the course of 3 years, filmed this movie in 1 to 3 hour chunks, like shoot days. They filmed for like an hour to 3 hours, depending on how cooperative Indy wanted to be over the course of 3 years. And I think the results are extraordinary. I think that all that time they put into this, all that passion is very clear on the big screen. It was a joy to watch, and I think they really did a great job with Indy. And I think the fact that Indy is not some kind of like Air Bud prodigy or something, like a protege to the Air Bud lineage or something, really helps, because it does just feel like a guy's dog who is now experiencing all this paranormal shit around it while seeing its best friend struggling and going through so much. It just makes it feel much more real and a lot more sad in certain aspects, again, without trying to get into too many spoilers. I just think it really is a good movie. Though I think some people will probably find it boring.
Sucks.
Because it's not a film that is like, fast-paced, nuts to butts, scares out the wazoo,
No, you can't
or
spread
anything
butter
trying to
with
have
a
you
hot
on the edge
knife.
of your seat throwing popcorn in
Because
the
you
air.
can't get butter on the
It
fucking
is a
knife.
slow burn. And for me, I really liked that. It's not a long movie, in fact, it's a very short movie, but that's not to say that it doesn't deliver a full experience. And I was very satisfied with this, but I do think there will be people that come out of it just thinking that it was all just a one-trick pony, relying on the gimmick of the dog perspective to sell an otherwise bland horror movie. I think there will be people with that take. I'm just not one of them. I think it did something different, and it tried something new, and I think it did it well. Would I have liked to see a little bit more in terms of horror? Sure. But I think what's here is executed well, and I think their spin on it is something that will resonate with people that bother to pay enough attention to it, especially if you are a pet owner. I won't yap about it too long, but I will also mention that I found it extremely cute that they did the behind the scenes at the end of the movie to show you how they got Indy to do certain scenes. And I just thought it was so cute. It's no easy feat being able to have a dog perform in a movie like this. And they didn't try and force it or anything. They just did these short work days over the course of 3 years. This is a longer development time than a lot of Marvel projects get. And so I really appreciate that dedication to it and just wanting to build something special. And as the director mentions, this was like a family project. That ain't my style. And I think they did a great job. I also couldn't help but get some Courage the Cowardly Dog vibes for certain scenes, especially when it came to how they lighted certain elements of it. Like scenes where Indy would be roaming around the house and there'd be this strong moonlight illuminating some very, specific piece of furniture as darkness creeps up on it. I did get some Courage vibes. Maybe I'm just, picking up on something that wasn't there. Courage the Cowardly Dog is one of my favorite shows ever made, and clearly the concept here of a horror movie from the perspective of a dog kind of fits in line with, Courage the Cowardly Dog and that, but I don't know, it really did seem like there were moments where there was definitely some influence there, which I appreciated. Regardless, though, I think this was a good movie. I would recommend it. I thought it was something new and something fresh that I hadn't seen before, and was done very well. Anyway, that's about it. See ya.
Hi, I'm Killian. It was an absolute treat to be in this tiny little room full of incredible films.
Sorry.
So this movie, La Piscine, this movie will make you want to move to France. Certainly at the beginning. The beautiful thing about this film is it's all about what kind of what isn't said, and all the subtext and all the energies that are happening between the characters. But by the end of the movie, you will not want to move to France. So I'm going to pop that in there. I actually watched this movie on Criterion Channel relatively recently, presented by the Dardenne brothers. It's just tremendous. Belgian brothers that make these beautiful, compassionate film about, I guess, real life. And this is a film about a young girl who's living in like a caravan park, and her mum's an alcoholic, and she's just trying to hold everything together. And she eventually gets a job like working in a waffle stall. And it sounds so tiny, the story, but it's actually huge in its themes. It'll make you cry. It's exactly my type of film. It's very sad, actually, because Emily Dequesne, who was the main actress, who was really young when she was in this, she passed away this year. So she's magnificent in this. So big, much respect to her. I'm going to take that. Maybe everybody picks Cassavetes. Now, this is very special to me because in like the early 2000s, I was in America, and I wasn't really happy with the sort of work I was doing, and I wasn't really happy with my approach to acting, and everyone was like, "Man, you gotta watch Cassavetes," and like it was kind of embarrassing that I hadn't watched it. So I went out and I bought this collection, and over a weekend, myself and my wife, we watched every single film on this. I mean, the standout movie for me is A Woman Under the Influence. Now, the other nice anecdote about this box set is that I then made a movie in LA that year, and the makeup artist who was doing my makeup, I was telling her about how much I love this Woman Under the Influence, and she says, "Oh, Gina Rowlands, she's a good friend of mine." And I said, would you mind asking Gina Rowlands to sign this? So she signed my DVD version of this, and then I went out and bought the Blu-ray. So I have two of these, so I don't really need a third. But it had a huge influence then on me once I discovered him, as it does on everybody who discovers Cassavetes. This is, these are quite formative films for me. This is a film that I watched when it came out in the cinema. A film by Michael Haneke, not one of his probably, I guess, like L'Amour or Funny Games, or, you know, they're kind of his more well-known movies. This is called Code Unknown. I didn't quite know what I was watching at the time. It's Juliette Binoche is the main character in it, but it's kind of fragmented storytelling. The opening sequence of this movie you will never forget. I certainly have never forgotten. It's this huge, long one take, and it's just this sort of altercation that happens on a street. It's like there's heavy themes in there, like race and immigration, but it's magnificent. And I remember at that time falling in love with those beautiful one take shots, and it's always remained with me. So heartily recommend Code Unknown by Haneke. So look at this. This is absolutely a thing of beauty. So this is the Wes Anderson archive. So it's 10 films over 25 years. I mean, it could not be more Wes Anderson. It's absolutely a beautiful thing. During COVID, my kids were, just getting into movies, and we watched every single one of Wes Anderson's movies. Can I have this? Oh, yes. I don't know if it'll fit in the bag. Amazing. I mean, could stay in here all day.
Remakes and remasters